Welcome to the audio experience of KimberlySueIverson.com, a redhead rewriting reality and multi-genre author. I am your host, Kimberly Sue Iverson, and today I'll be sharing with you a story that's close to my heart. If you prefer to read along or explore more stories, visit my website at KimberlySueIverson.com. This audio experience is for an adult audience. Themes and topics may not be appropriate or suitable for all audiences, so listener and viewer discretion is advised. Now, get yourself comfy as we dive into today's tale. Not all are saints. When I think about stuff to write about, I will often think on what's been going on and topics to write around. Kinda mentioned that last time. Worse though is my brain starts to compose the topic or the blog in my head, and then I get some really great writing in, like blockbuster people. In my head, not on here. On here, I'll forget what I want to type out and all that brilliant writing and composing. On here, I sit down and suddenly, what are words? Like today, we had someone stop by, as we may, who sees our roof or yard and want to offer their services. I say the same as usual. We don't have funds for anything right now. We are struggling even to come up with food or money to pay for electricity, so no thank ye. This particular individual has an Irish accent. Hello to men with Irish accents. Also that deep country twang sometimes, the deep voices, the British, Mountain Man, Romanian, German, Italian, people like Jeremy Irons' voice or Gary Oldman even. Need I say more? I just like good voices, men or women. I digress. Get on the train with me back to the right track, at least for this topic. All aboard! Well, sidetrack station 1 out of plenty more stations. You're maybe wondering why I bothered to answer the door. Well, 1, I have a sign that says no soliciting by the door, but most ignore it and knock, then get my dogs wound up. Stop winding them up. Yes, training, blah, blah. They're still as crazed inside their brain as my brother and I mentally. I told neighbors, with the way my mom would egg them into doing things they shouldn't, barking hello, and then yell and scream right after or days later for weeks that they were stupid, untrained, and the dumbest dogs on the planet, essentially. They struggle to know how to relax right now, especially with all the lack of sleep we all get. Ain't about training. My dogs, as I mentioned last time, have been trained. But imagine someone gives you a cookie and you eat it. Then the next time they do, they slap you for it. Well, then the next time they say, go on, it's okay, come on. Eat it. So you do with hesitation. Everything is cool. So they do it again. Have a cookie. Have 2. And then they punch you for it, saying you're the stupidest on earth. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you. Come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you. Come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. It. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Who does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Does that? Well, then the next time they bully you, come on, don't want the cookie? Eat it. Eat it. Good job. So finally you do. And the cycle repeats. Why would you eat a cookie? Does that? I don't prioritize this because I don't make money at it. If people want me to be on point with time and getting things out for it, help me with donations, sign up for a subscription, then I could afford to. Otherwise, my focus is where I make funds to buy food and keep lights on. And yes, I mean that in the most literal sense. Not, oh, I can be casual and I will still have money. No. I'm working from sun up to sundown, dealing with dogs and doing everything just to afford that stuff right now. I would love to have breathing room so that I could focus on this and make money doing this and my writing. I miss focusing so much on my writing, and by writing I mean my fiction. But make zilch and write for a few hours, or make money in those few hours doing other stuff. Enough said. I have 2 people coming by. I'm trying to triangulate tomorrow so they're not on top of one another. And I'm not hands full with Chewbacca. Kona also keeps climbing on me right now, freaking out. So I type, shove him off, type, shove him off. He is in full panic mode. Had to put him on the floor. With Chewbacca, I did end up having to do more of what I didn't really want to. I've been giving him the calorie supplement in the morning, forcing it a tiny bit. He no want me to shove it in his mouth. He sleeps most of the day. Last night I used one of the cake mixes to make a cherry chip cake since we were so low on food at that point that we really had nothing of substance to eat outside of Spam and rice I made. Figured why not make those mixes here and there. So Chewbacca got a few bites of cake too as a treat. Back to the train tracks. Station 1 done left the building and is in the rear view mirror. This guy who stopped by today was polite, and I like answering the door sometimes because honestly I don't hate people and I don't mind answering. Some may think everyone is out to get them and say, "Don't you dare!" If I sensed a weird feeling, I wouldn't. My mom loved to call me utterly stupid for answering the door, even at the window. Everyone, yes, that absolute everyone was out to kill and kidnap you who came to the door. All the while, being that she would answer the door and tell them her entire life story and try to keep them for hours if she could. But me doing it was wrong, wrong, wrong. When I answer the door, often people back away and keep backing away. I literally feel sometimes as if I'm the one they see as the terrible attacker. I also say in all humbleness, it's not lost on me sometimes I have that effect on people. People have said I intimidated them at first to talk to, or they saw me as a bitch, or others have made it seem it was about my looks. Clearly ugly and all. I mean, it could be anything or everything and many different reasons, but it's more likely they back far away from me than I need to worry. We don't get those sorts of people around here that often. It's rare. We live in a good neighborhood where if you even drive around for 5 seconds more than you should, you're probably gonna be on the local next door post, sir, madam. Just be aware of that. Around here is like a small country town at times. I mean, we used to be before we were incorporated, so probably just maintained the vibe naturally. Had to write the nearest neighborhood block name, then the main city name as a 2-part address, like the phone numbers that had the first digits with letters. Did you grow up with any of that? Tell me in the comments, or if you still do. How fun! The guy was polite and everything, but I was starting to want to say stop trying to bulldoze and focus on profit. I do have to add, I have yet to meet anyone who thought I was older than late 20s, so I know that can factor in. They figure maybe I'm not that knowledgeable on the world or know about those things being so young. I'm sure anyone else would have just slammed the door and been all pissy. But again, I enjoy talking to people, and sometimes those conversations pay off. Those are the same type of conversations that have been helping Brother and I. I distrust a lot of people, but the ones who come to the door here, often I don't. It does have to do with very honed instincts. That I don't discount or want to. I used to shove it off, but that little voice inside has only ever done me wrong one time, and it was my fault because I didn't listen. Also, bear in mind, I have a 70-pound solid muscle Doberman right behind me who can jump that safety gate I made in a heartbeat if someone was a dum-dum. other topics that I've wanted to talk about and was going to write about were random. I may address one later on when I'm not so chicken. I was going to discuss what may have been the biggest change of perspective to life because of being raped. It wasn't the act. It was all that came after that truly messed with me. All that I'd thought would happen went the opposite way. All that I thought I could believe in left me out on a cracking branch by myself, with no handholds and a branch that gave way. I'd also considered discussing Stone, my character from the Guardian of Life world. I think it was because I'd been thinking about men who have such a simple speech, who convey so much in so little. Not talking about those who give very little in terms of presence. I had one. Simple speech because he wasn't putting in the effort, and I became a status update. Good morning, how are you? I'm going to do blank. And crickets, then good night. When he was really intelligent and capable of long, incredible conversations. That's a lack of presence. A simple speech man conveys everything in so little. So many words and stories are told through his eyes, through his consistently reaching out to talk to you, through his presence and stability in your life. Like this guy who'd been a really close friend of mine for a time on the Pirates game I play. The way he talked often made me smile just because he once said he learned English through playing games like that and chatting with people. So his quote-unquote English could often have grammar errors. It's not the same as someone who grows up in America, knows English as their first language, and misspells because they just don't want to learn and screw it up because of their own lack of interest in that effort to learn and speak right. This speech was someone who went out of their way to teach themselves English, and amazingly did through that means, but didn't know sometimes the words weren't spelled right, and the way he said things could get a little wonky for it, which made me laugh. Not at him, not at all. I just respected him and his intelligence, which he had loads of, and his ability to make me laugh. It was that simple, this is what sounds right, so therefore it was how he wrote it. It was adorable to read for that reason. Impressive, also cute. More so when he'd get annoyed with someone and harass them, and the ability to sum up everything in so little. He had enough confidence and understanding. He didn't care if he did get the occasional harassment. Most in those games don't harass on grammar unless they're really wanting to be an a-hole, because there are so many different country speakers, so different styles of writing. It was a feat of accomplishment. Probably wasn't proud of himself for it, but he should be. At least I think so. It could also be the self-taught aspect. I self-teach a lot, and you will mess up and get things wrong for it if you do it. But still, if you self-teach yourself anything that's tough like that, pat yourself on the back. It's a big deal. But like Stone and others I've been around, men in this instance, there are some who are like that, and I think that one led me to thinking about Stone, which, yum, and his ability to convey everything in so little. I mean, when he looks at Ellie, there are lifetimes of conversations he has with her in mere moments. So much is said in those eyes when he looks at her, and he even admits it to her. He says to her he doesn't have the right words, and he doesn't have the words she needs to hear. She tells him straight out that he does. He always knows exactly what she needs to hear, and he always has the right words, because she doesn't want the man who is always making her giggle and must joke around all the time, or the man who always has the perfect words. And I forget how she described the other weird story element where she has 3 husbands. Long story. She says she wants a beast who can do it all and basically protect her and be there for her always, as he always is. He is always there, always takes care of her, protects her, keeps her safe. That's it. That's the key to her heart. She just needs him there. When Stone talks, too, it is so simple and so few words often said, but lifetimes of things are spoken in those little words. It's the presence behind what is said, the stability he offers her, being there, always. Stone was created from a man I once knew that people would be shocked to find I'd been friends with, but I don't judge people. He was honest with me about things he'd done, and I don't know, long story, but he exemplified Stone and worked as a muse for him. I love conversation and talking, but people underestimate word usage. If I could convey everything in so little, I'd love it. Might not be an author, but maybe I would. I used to write very little description and people still enjoyed the stories. Just am not that way now. Still get people enjoying the stories, but the ability to do it in speech, say everything with so little. I like those people too, because those aren't the people who say hi and then disappear for months and years, and hello, and then repeat. Those are people who may say few words that are of substance, have an actual conversation with you, but that they are there consistently showing up with their presence, saying everything with so little. I am here. I am consistent. I am going to be here. You can truly count on me to be here consistently. I miss that friend who led me to thinking about Stone, though, because we spoke daily and a lot. That's the difference between someone who talks very little and someone who speaks very little. One says, "Good morning, how are you? I'm going to blank. Oh, that's cool." Another is richer and talks to you about their day, involves you with their life, gives you presence, and speaks so very much in so very little. Not even sure I'm conveying that properly. Hopefully I am. I do like people who can converse with me and have incredibly long, drawn-out, thoughtful conversations as well. But it all needs presence. I can feel the difference, the richness. I'm sure we all can. You can tell me in the comments if you can, or articulate it better than I am. It's what I had with that close friend of mine at the time. I'm not sure where we didn't speak or when. It was all just there, always. I like that sort of friend. Then the trickling took place in me where I had to finally put a boundary up and back away because he got involved with someone. Access card denied, sir. only one person will get full access. The rest do not. The rest get access cards with varying degrees of access. Also, be warned, I might start releasing the audio version of these a little later. It's so hard to rush to do the audio immediately after. More so because I do a lot of post editing for both, and then more just before release. Things I shouldn't share that. I shouldn't talk that way. I shouldn't this or that. Maybe I accidentally throw in a name or enough information that it gives the person away. Why I don't label someone, people, friend too far. Immediate people around me may know from context who I speak of, may not, but I try not to give away too many details or personal information. Privacy for me, for them, for safety on all sides too, because crazy people. Also, that reminded me of another topic on something. Talking about the details of private life. My original topic was going to include that, I think. How, unless you really know me, and even then, ask many who the names of my exes are. How many I've had? 3. And most actually couldn't tell you. Ask me details of my dating life. Majority have 0 ideas. Or about my beliefs when it comes to all of it. I said I was traditional and I'm old-fashioned, but does it mean really old? Sort of old? Super traditional? Lax on it? Exactly. You don't need to know too much if you ain't gonna be long-terming it with me. I'm only into committed long-term permanent stuff, so I'm not that easy to get those details from and closeness. People think me an open book, and I am. Oh, I am. However, private life, certain aspects of who I am, oh no. You may get off the train, please. My original thought for this particular post can also be tied into the above, people knowing me. I was remembering this moment with my first boyfriend. He ended up becoming my first boyfriend partly because of it. I think he still believes I am madly in love with him, or was back then at least, that I was quote unquote hooked on him because of things my mom would say or do that she always used to. Probably added to her little, oh, Kim is madly in love with you and misses you kind of vibes. I can't recall the letter, but I think he'd written one to her where he'd commented on me that way. So I know she probably tried. Told brother the other night, oh, Mom loved saying to people, I'm so glad you are friends with Kim because she doesn't have any. And it's so nice you're getting her out of the house. While I'd be sitting on the back porch, and I'm not sure if she knew I could hear her across the yard while she looked right at me and was quote-unquote sneaky. When I've never not had friends, when she actually used to get really annoyed at me for not being home and running around all the time. But yes, random new person in my life. You are my savior. Believe her. I actually think that was my second boyfriend that I'm thinking of for that moment. Maybe. Anywho, I was randomly remembering this funny thing that my then best friend and I thought we'd do to try to catch this guy's attention more. Ridiculous and not so nice. Playing with feelings of people, antics of, I want to say I was 18 to 20, 18 maybe-ish. My mom didn't let me date until I was 18, so maybe there. That boyfriend, now ex, obviously, was, I think, 25 too. I don't remember. But my former best friend and I had actually laid in the camper composing this accidental note or journal entry. I don't remember that, but it was talking about me thinking he was cute and wondering certain things that an 18-year-old to me should not be writing and leaving about for some guy to read. But I mean, we were weird like that, and God, back then I was a fearless little brat despite having been through so much even then. It was just not the worst, and life hadn't truly happened, so I was sassy. Okay, still am. And bratty, again, still am. But also a little firecracker of energy and courage. Well, usually. I don't remember why on earth we wanted to do that. I don't remember much around it, but a few of the things I wrote, and she helped me figure out. And to this day, I didn't have the heart to tell the guy, I wasn't in love with you, and I liked you, but it wasn't that serious. I didn't include that stuff in the note. It was something he inferred. I don't harbor anger toward him or much of anything really. He was that boyfriend that is almost like your training wheels, not really serious about the guy, figuring things out, how to proceed and handle everything. He was the same way with me. Also could be that I was really kind of lackadaisical when it came to relationships, as I've mentioned, and rather detached. I didn't have that in me as I do now that I'm older, where I crave that stability of long-term permanent companionship. Sometimes I wish I could have been that way while younger. Sometimes I wonder if I'm done and won't get those chances again because, still super bratty often. But also, I don't know, maybe just society, age, something. I sometimes just figure I wished I was the opposite when younger. I know a lot of that was outside affected. I'd get harassed by my mom if I even hinted at anything relationship or love. I'd have people pushing the get a career or explore the world. There's so much more out there for you. A natural independence, the toxic independence that was definitely in me, created again by environment, knowing I couldn't depend on anyone. They always hurt me. I didn't know true stability, even now, which is why I crave it. I like calm men because of that. Calm, stable, long-term focused, goal-oriented, practically boring to some men. Why I probably write that sort of dude. Julian can almost be toxic in the Dark Illusions series in the Dark Moon Dynasty universe world, but one high vampire and kinda partly demon, spoiler, but also the stuff he'd been through that created that in him. He knows what to do, what needs to be done, how to keep someone safe, so for him the control is out of love. And yeah, he doesn't really control Kat as we see most of the time it seems he does. She allows some of it because if she don't want to be kept somewhere, good luck. So more of the control he has over her is from respect, though we also do see that in the beginning, Kat is chaos and all fire. She's a mess. By the end, we see she has become a powerful, unstoppable, almost, force like Julian, because through the years of her backing off, Respecting him and willingly submitting to his will and control over her, he trains her, he teaches her, he hones her into a sharp weapon, just like he'd always known she could become. She trusted him enough and learned to respect him enough to allow that and willingly submit, knowing it was for her best, and for her best and all around her it became. We also see she is still a playful little brat who keeps him on his toes to ensure he stays young and sharp. It's not just a one-way street. She loosens him up, brings life back into his Mr. Oh-so-serious and controlled always self. Everyone around him benefits because he loosens his grip on so much and realizes he can't always abide what he thinks is right. Sometimes it's good to listen to someone who you think isn't as experienced, because little Miss Cat is a lot more cunning on the inside and pays very close attention to things Julian misses. She feels more, so she provides valuable intel for him regarding people around him and more. You see, Cat isn't stupid. She is very playful, yes. Sometimes it gets her into trouble, yes. But she is also very cunning and pays close attention to reactions. How someone reacts to her, the things they say. It reveals them to her. She reads them. They naturally drop their guard around her, and she is able to now see them in a way many can't. A good lesson for all of us, methinks. Reminder too, sometimes things aren't what they seem or we think, like Cat. Sometimes while you think they are playful and not really paying attention, they are paying closer attention than you think and are so much more cunning than you believe. Because while you are distracted with, oh, they're dumb, as Cat says in this quote from Dark Illusions, the next chapter, extended edition, when she is speaking to Sean, Cat raised her hands in the air to indicate her lack of caring. Let them believe I'm stupid. Let them believe I'm naive. Let them believe I act on emotion versus logic. Let them believe me weak. They won't see me coming. By the time they figure it out, I'll be gone. They'll be left with nothing. I'll destroy them. More to come. Thank you for reading and subscribing, or listening in this case. I know how valuable your time is, so it means so much that you are here, and I'm beyond grateful you chose to spend this time with me. What are your thoughts? Engage with me and start a conversation. Just don't be rude about it. If you'd like a chance for your story to be read and featured, get in touch at stories2read@KimberlySueIverson.com. A new episode and blog is dropped every Wednesday on KimberlySueIverson.com or on YouTube under Kimber Bites. That's KimberBites, Kimber Bites. And don't forget to check out my Ream subscription page. Another chapter is up. I am releasing Guardians of the Void chapter by chapter over on Ream right now. I will be releasing my Priestess World as well soon. long before the public gets the books. You'll be able to read the chapters as I write them and help with the world. You'll get to read extra scenes that may not make the cut either. This is still being thought out on how I will, so they haven't been posted yet, but stay tuned. Also, that world is still in progress, but I have written almost 3 books. I'm nearing the end of the 3rd one. That's the one that when you follow me on social media, if you see the updates, that's the one it's about. If I actually do some writing and get all excited, that's typically the world I'm writing in. So check out reamstories.com/Kimberly Sue Iverson. That's reamstories.com/KIMBERLYSUEIVERSON. reamstories.com/Kimberly Sue Iverson. That link also will be in the description box below unless I completely forget to add it, at which point you can remind me.